never believed in ghost stories. Not because I thought they were impossible. I just believed every haunting had an explanation. A pipe knocking in the walls, a tired mind, a prank, a mistake. Then I found the floor that wasn't on the blueprints. And after that, I stopped believing in explanations at all. I quit my night security job the next morning. I never went back. And the worst part is this. According to every official record, the place I spent nearly 2 hours inside does not exist. Back in October of 2021, I was hired to work security after losing my warehouse job. The company sent me wherever they needed someone. Office buildings, storage facilities, empty properties after dark. Most nights were the same. Unlock nothing, check everything, walk the halls, pretend the silence meant safety. Then they assigned me to Ashcroft Financial Plaza, 12 stories, late 1980s construction, glass lobby, brass elevator doors, the kind of place that looks harmless in daylight and dead at night. There was only one cleaning crew, and they left around 10. After that, I was alone. The building manager, Richard, met me on my first night, late 50s, too neat, too calm. The kind of man who had spent so long repeating instructions that he had stopped hearing how strange they sounded. "Nothing exciting happens here," he said, handing me the keys. "The elevators lock automatically at midnight. If you need to move between floors after that, use stairwell B. Stairwell A is closed." Then he looked at me for half a second too long. If elevator 3 stops somewhere unexpected, and press the lobby button again. I remember laughing. "What does that mean?" He smiled without humor. "It means press the lobby button again." Then he walked out. I should have quit right there, but I didn't. The first week was normal enough. Too normal. Camera feeds, patrol logs, rain streaking across the windows. The building settling at night with little pops and groans, like old bones turning in sleep. Then, on a Friday at 1:40 in the morning, something on camera 28 changed. Level 9. For 3 seconds, the hallway blurred. Not static, not a glitch. More like the picture had forgotten what it was supposed to show. When it cleared, the hallway looked dimmer. Not darker, dimmer. Like the light had been taken out of it. I grabbed my flashlight and went to check. Elevator 3 was waiting in the lobby. I rode it up to 9. At first, everything was normal. Then the car slowed around 8. Without warning, it stopped. The doors opened, and I was staring into darkness. Not blackness, not emptiness. Something worse. A hallway stretched out ahead of me, but the air felt wrong the moment the doors opened. Cold, wet, still. Like the breath of a room that had been sealed for years. The display above the door read 13. I stared at it for a second, sure I was seeing wrong. There was no 13. The building ended at 12. I looked back at the panel. Only the 9 button was lit. Exactly like Richard said. Unexpected, I hit the closed door button. Nothing. Again. Nothing. The elevator stayed open like it was waiting for me to decide. Then I heard it. A sound from inside the hallway. Not a voice. Not footsteps. A soft knocking. 3 taps. From somewhere deep inside the dark. I stepped out. The second my boots touched the floor, the elevator door shut behind me. I spun around. The elevator was gone. Not hidden. Gone. The wall was solid concrete now, blank and wet-looking, as if the elevator had never existed there at all. My radio crackled, then died. My phone had no signal. The hallway in front of me stretched too far, and every sign on the wall pointed somewhere impossible. Accounting, conference room, archives. None of it should have existed on a floor that wasn't there. I walked. I had no choice. The farther I went, the stranger the place became. Concrete turned to drywall. Drywall turned to faded wallpaper. Modern carpet gave way to older carpet. Brown, thin, worn flat in the middle like thousands of people had passed over it for years. Then I found a reception desk, covered in dust. A beige computer sat on top of it. The monitor was on. A green cursor blinked on a black screen. No keyboard, no mouse. Just the blinking cursor waiting. Then the phone rang. 1 ring. The sound was so sharp it made me flinch. It rang again. I didn't move. On the third ring, it stopped, and somewhere down the hall, a chair slowly scraped across the floor. Not dragged, not thrown, just moved, carefully, like someone had shifted their weight to stand up. I shined my light toward the sound, empty cubicles, rows of desks, coffee mugs with old rings at the bottom. Family photos turned face down. Every calendar on every wall showed the same date, October 14th, 1997. I checked again and again. Same date, same year, everywhere. That date shouldn't have meant anything to me yet. It did later. A click sounded behind me, like a phone being hung up. I turned fast. One of the cubicle chairs was spinning slowly. No one had been sitting in it. I swear no one had been there. Then I heard footsteps, very light, very slow, walking on carpet, not rushing, not sneaking, just walking. Around me, circling me. I swung my flashlight back and forth, but the footsteps never entered the beam. They stayed just outside it, like whatever made them knew exactly where I wasn't looking. Then a voice came from right beside my ear. Late again. I froze so hard it felt like my blood stopped moving. I dropped the flashlight. It rolled under a desk, and when I bent to grab it, I saw shoes beneath the neighboring cubicle. Black dress shoes, shiny, polished, perfectly still. Someone was sitting there. I looked up. The chair above the shoes was empty. No legs, no body, just the shoes. Then the telephone rang again, and this time every desk in the room answered at once. Printers woke up. Keyboards began clicking. Somewhere deeper in the floor, a copier started humming. Then a microwave beeped. Then someone laughed, not loudly. Just enough to tell me I was hearing a person who wasn't supposed to be there, or worse, a person who had never left. I ran. The hall behind me twisted. I know that sounds impossible, but that's the only way I can say it. Every corner looked familiar. Every hallway looped back into itself. Conference room B, archives, reception, conference room B again. The exit signs made no sense. Some pointed forward, some pointed back, some pointed nowhere at all. Then I found another elevator. Brass doors, one button, L. I hit it, nothing. Then the doors opened on their own. Inside stood a security guard. Same uniform, same flashlight, same company logo. For 1 second, I thought I was looking at myself. Then I saw the details. His badge was yellow. His face was older, paler, like he had been living under fluorescent lights for years too long. He stared at me and said, very softly, "You shouldn't be here." "I know." "How long?" "I don't know." He closed his eyes for a second. When he opened them, he looked almost sad. They always say that. I swallowed hard. "What is this place?" He ignored the question. "Did you answer the phone?" "What phone?" He looked relieved. "Good." Then his expression changed. His eyes moved past me, not toward the hallway, past me. His face drained of color, and for the first time that night he looked truly terrified. Not afraid, terrified. He whispered, "Run." The lights went out, every light, all at once. The hallway vanished, the cubicles vanished, even the emergency signs died. And in the dark, I heard hundreds of chairs scrape backward at the same time. Not one, hundreds. As if an entire office had stood up in perfect silence. Then came the sound of something breathing, huge, wet, slow, like the building itself had inhaled. The emergency lights flickered back on. The guard was gone. The elevator was empty. At the far end of the corridor, someone stood in the dark, tall, too still. Its head tilted slightly like it was listening to me. Then every office phone rang at once. The sound was deafening. The figure started walking, not fast, not slow, just certain. One step, ring, another step, ring, another ring. It did not need to hurry. It already knew where I was going. I slammed into the elevator and stabbed the lobby button over and over. The doors closed just before the thing reached me. The car dropped, hard. The lights flickered, the display flashed numbers, then letters, then symbols I didn't recognize. Then everything stopped. The doors opened. I was back in the lobby, bright, clean, quiet. Morning sunlight poured through the glass entrance. Richard stood behind the front desk with a coffee in his hand. He looked up like nothing had happened. "There you are." I stared at him. "What time is it?" "8:30. I looked at my watch. 2:17 a.m. My hands started shaking. "That's impossible. We've been looking for you since last night." He sounded annoyed, not concerned. "Where were you?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. "The elevator." His face changed instantly. "What elevator?" 3. He shut his eyes. Then he said, almost under his breath, "I told them to lock that thing months ago." He led me into his office and shut the door. Then he asked the question that still wakes me up sometimes. "When you got there, how many phones were ringing?" My stomach went cold. "You know." He rubbed his face with both hands. "My predecessor disappeared in 2004. I stared at him. He opened a file cabinet and pulled out a photograph. I nearly dropped it. The man in the photo was the guard from the elevator. Same face, same eyes, same yellow badge. Employee status missing. Richard leaned back. "They all go the same way." "What do you mean, they all?" He didn't answer. Then he said, "We removed the 13th floor button during construction. There never was one. I quit that morning. I didn't argue. I didn't ask questions. I just left. Months later, I got curious enough to request the original building plans. That was a mistake. Buried in the records was a handwritten note from an engineer. One sentence. Sublevel office expansion permanently sealed after repeated access incidents. No diagram, no explanation, no mention of what had been down there. A few weeks after that, I got an envelope with no return address. Inside was a photograph. The lobby, the security desk, employees smiling, receptionist talking, everything ordinary, until I saw the man standing near the elevators, yellow badge, security uniform, looking straight at the camera. It was him, the same man, but that wasn't what made me drop the photo. In the reflection of the lobby doors, behind the glass, elevator 3 was open, and someone in a blue security uniform was stepping out. Someone with my face. So if you ever work night security and a building has a floor that isn't on the plans, don't press the button, don't follow the hallway, and if the phone rings in a place that should be empty, whatever you do, don't answer.